Hello everybody, welcome to my Secret World Beginners Tanking build. I'm going to talk today about what gear, abilities, passive and active I use to tank early dungeons like Polaris, DW, HR. It works for them and ones further up as well even. So let's get cracking. So basically I'm using Chaos and Swords. The reason I like this build is because it offers great versatility. You've got mobility and survivability, and you can also convert this build into a solo build as well, which is great if you're punching well above your weight. It offers great survivability as well for soloing. So, a little bit about the gear, not too much. I'm running about 5k HP. Depends what gear you've got to work with though, so that's why I'm not going to talk about it too much. I like to take at least a couple of damage items as well, just so I deal extra aggro, and that's all I'll say about gear. Right, now, for my abilities, I'm going to talk firstly about Agitator. It's really important you have this ability. It's a passive. It's going to increase the hate you generate significantly, so take that ability. It is so important as a tank. Also, Provoke is there if you need it. It's a taunt. Hopefully you won't need it in the lower dungeons. Okay, so that's that. And then, now for your actives, you're going to be building with a move called Escalation in Chaos. It's an AoE ability, and it builds resources for both your weapons. Take this ability to build with. Also, down from there, take the passive Intensity. It's going to increase the hate you generate with Escalation. Okay, so that's your builder, and you're going to be consuming your Chaos points with a move called Karma. It is in the fourth wall tree in Chaos. It's an AoE attack that causes the enemies to heal you next time they hit you. Take that. Very good tanking move. Now I'm just going to switch over to your blade section of the pie here. Method in that tree, third ability down, balanced blades. This is going to be your blades consumer move. It's important to consume with both weapons, so take that. There you go. Okay, so they're fundamentally the abilities that I will take straight up. Now let's talk about survivability. So now we have two abilities that are really going to help us out. Martial Discipline, which is in blades. It's the fourth move down in the technique tree. Take that. This is a great move to help you survive those hard hitting bosses. Also, another move that's quite similar, Illusion, down in Chance Tree in Chaos. Take that, that's going to help as well. If you're on the last boss in Polaris, he's hitting you really hard, pop these. Great moves to have. Now, for the mobility moves, I'm going to talk about, well, there's only one really at this low level. It's called Surging Blades. It's quite important you have it. It's 2 down from Martial Discipline. So take Surging Blades. If you're against a boss that you need to get about the map quickly, use this. It will get you out of some situations, very handy to have in certain situations. So that's that. Now we're going to talk about impairs. So you've really only got 2 at this low stage. Domino Effect, which is it's the elite at the bottom of the theory tree. Take that, it pulls enemies towards you and impairs them. Another one is Chaotic Pull. It's in the Shell Game tree, Chaos. It pulls the enemy towards you and impairs. Only works on one enemy though, but Domino Effect works. It's an AoE, so that's why it's an elite. So that's basically the active moves I use until you're getting more up into the other trees. That's what you have to work with. So now we're going to talk about passive. So I talked about Agitator. I also talked about Intensity. So I'm not going to talk about those. Now we have an elite ability called Fluid Defense in the blades. It's underneath Surging Blades. Take that. It's a great tank elite to have. Whenever you glance, it increases your basically makes you get hit for less, 25% for 6 seconds less damage. I've also got a move as well called Chaos Adept. It increases the damage of all your Chaos abilities. Take that because you're building with a Chaos ability. It's very handy to have. Another move I've got is called Mind Over Matter. It helps you set Afflicted State, so it's very good for a tank, and it only costs 1 point. So it's very good for the early build, because the ones that you're going to be taking later on in other builds, when you're doing nightmares, is Bloodsport in the fists and Shoot 'em Up in the assault rifles. They're in trees that we're not interested in at the minute, so it's not economical to take points in those. So take Mind Over Matter. Such a good move to have. Now I've got 2 free slots, so I use Gnosis, which does more damage to weakened targets, and Brawler, which is a critical, increases your critical damage. Alternatively, with one of those, you could take a passive called Master of Illusions, which increases the illusions ability effectiveness. So that's basically what I use for my tanking. Now, as I said, you can switch this build over quite easily to make it a DPS solo build. I'm just going to show you quickly what I've done. I've only really swapped out a couple of passives. So I've got an ability called Immortal Spirit that means when you penetrate you're going to get a heal over time effect. I've also got an ability called Unholy Knowledge, increases damage of all your damage over time effects as well. That's going to be what you do when you're afflict. So that's that. So thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, please subscribe, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Thank you very much. Goodbye.